Hi Vintage Bakers! Today I'm in the kitchen making une Bûche de Noël, or a Christmas Yule log cake. This light and spongy vanilla cake is spiraled with thick chocolate buttercream and coated with a silky smooth chocolate ganache. This classic French holiday dessert is shaped like a festive Yule log. Often its rustic appearance is enhanced with woodland-themed decorations. So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make un Bûche de Noël, or a chocolate Yule log. I'm going to start this recipe by making the vanilla sponge. For added lightness and air, I'm going to sift my dry ingredients. Sift together 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to set this aside and move on to my wet ingredients. In a large bowl, crack in 4 eggs and 2 tablespoons of water. Beat this together until light and foamy. Then I'm going to beat in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 cup of sugar. Continue to beat this until light, creamy, and slightly thickened. Now I'm going to sprinkle in the dry ingredients that we sifted together at the beginning. Add in half a teaspoon of salt and fold this in to form a creamy, light batter. I already have a jelly roll tin that I've greased and lined with parchment paper. I'm going to spread my batter into the tin and then pop this into my preheated 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius oven and bake for 10 to 12 minutes, or until the cake is set in the middle and the edges are just starting to color. As soon as it comes out of the oven, I'm going to turn the cake out onto a clean, lint-free kitchen towel. Remove the parchment paper and, with the kitchen towel, roll it into a log shape, starting at one of the short ends. And now my cake is going to get set aside to cool. Meanwhile, I'm going to get on with making the filling for the cake. Melt 4 squares of baker's chocolate. I just popped mine into an oven-proof dish and allowed the chocolate to melt in my still warm oven. Then allow the chocolate to cool before adding it to the buttercream. In a large bowl, cream together a 1/4 cup of softened butter, 1 cup of icing sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla until light and creamy. Mix in the cooled melted chocolate and 3 tablespoons of cream. Beat this together until you have a smooth, thick icing. Now that my cake is cooled, I can start adding the filling. Gently unwrap the spiral of cake and remove the kitchen towel from inside. Spread the smooth chocolate icing all over the top of the cake. Make sure to go all the way out to the corners and the edges. Now I can gently roll this back into a spiral of cake and icing. The cake should now appear like a log and the spiral should be visible on both ends. On both ends of the cake, I'm going to make a small angled cut, about 1 to 1.5 inches. These 2 little sections are going to be the branches coming off of the Yule log when I'm forming my cake. Now to cover the outside of the cake, I'm going to make a rich and velvety chocolate ganache. In a bowl, I've measured 200 grams of semi-sweet chocolate. You can either use chocolate chips or chop some chocolate into small pieces. Heat 100 grams of 35% cream until it just starts to steam. I do this in 30-second intervals in the microwave. It should be hot enough to easily melt the chocolate. To make this chocolate ganache, it's important to have a 2-to-1 ratio of chocolate and cream. So it's difficult to give a volume measurement since the size of the chocolate will vary. So for this, it's more reliable to go by weight. Pour the hot cream over the chocolate and stir to melt. Stir until the chocolate is melted and glossy. Allow the chocolate mixture to cool to room temperature, stirring occasionally. Then place it in the fridge for approximately 30 minutes, stirring occasionally until it is a thick, spreadable consistency. Then I'm going to use the ganache to glue the 2 ends of the log onto the sides and top of the cake. Then I'm going to cover the entire cake with this chocolate icing. After the whole cake is covered, make sure to make a few scratches on the surface of the icing to resemble the bark of the log. And now comes the fun part, decorating the outside of the cake. For mine, I'm sticking with a classic woodland theme. I've dyed some graham cracker crumbs with green food coloring for moss on my log. I've already prepared some meringue mushrooms and I'm going to glue them on with some more of the chocolate icing. To add a nice pop of color, I'm going to add some sugared berries and some evergreen pieces around the cake. I'm also going to add a simple dusting of icing sugar for the snow. You can of course decorate this cake however you would like. Some other great alternative decorations for this cake are festive sprinkles, small gingerbread cutouts, and chopped nuts. You could also add a melted chocolate drizzle, pipe some icing decorations, or use melted chocolate to pipe things like trees and snowflakes. This is the perfect show-stopping festive dessert to serve to family and friends at the holidays. This is a great alternative to serve alongside some pies at Christmas. Or use this as a fun and festive centerpiece at the dessert table for New Year's. Enjoy! Happy holidays! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.